Hi guys, Billy back, and this time we're going to be looking at the Mezco 112 Collective Deadpool. Let's get this thing unboxed and have a look at what we get. Okay, packaging wise, it's a little more bare bones than say some of their older figures like the Punisher. You've also got the Deadpool logo on the front, you also have the Marvel logo, 112 Collective, and now they've got Pose, Play and Display on the side, Deadpool written across the top. On the side, it's got 112 Mezco toys and the logo in a black. And then on the back, you have the picture of the figure with the photographs of him being posed there, and all the accessories on the back, just in case you're not sure what you're going to be getting inside the box. It's okay. There is quite a nice design. It's got some nice, stylish, separated reds in there that sort of make it look like it's designed that way, but unfortunately, because he's red and there's a lot of red on here, things start to blur into each other. You can see the hands there, they're sort of, I don't know, you can just about see them, but it's not super clear what you're getting. And also the photographs here with the reds and everything like that, it seems a bit washed out, it seems a bit dull, and I was worried this might be a knockoff or something, but it's definitely not. I bought it from a reputable retailer. You know, some of the design choices in the packaging itself are they're left a little bit to be desired. Let's pull off this slip sleeve. Now, this is one of the main contentions I've got, is that previous designs in the actual Mezco 112 Collective series did in actual fact have a opening up tab here that swings out, and you get some nice artwork on the inside. You know, it made it feel a bit more premium, but they've cut this down and made it a bit more streamlined, and it loses something for that, which is a shame. But obviously, if they still need to keep churning these out, the first couple they do is to impress, and then like Hot Toys, things start to, you know, find their feet and get more of a streamlined approach to things, and they end up with a final design. And I think a lot more of the figures are going to come with this sort of slip sleeve instead of the magnetized pull-out sleeve with artwork inside. Anyway, so let's just have a quick look. Here's the box on the inside. You can see the figure is in there. It's got his stand. And you can see there's like a spot UV up the top that says 112 Collective, Pose, Play, Display. It looks quite stylish. Again, this is what I like with these types of things. They market for grown-ups and they design for grown-ups. This isn't just like loads of cartoon writing everywhere. It's Comic Sans nowhere to be seen. There, of course, you've got spot UV there. And then you've got spot UV Mezco logo on the back. And that's it. Okay guys, let's get this out of the packaging and see what we get. Okay guys, that's everything out of the packaging. Now, it's been really interesting seeing this compared to like the Punisher, because there are some differences and there are some similarities, and I have to say, straight out of the box, I'm really impressed with this figure overall. There are some flaws and I'll point them out in a second, but wow, you do get quite a bit of bang for your buck, and the figure itself is really nice looking. As you can see, he's standing on his little Deadpool stand. Now, the way the foot peg is in the stand, it does look a little bit off. You can't put the logo the same way that this one is, you know, sort of facing downwards. You've got to do it facing across, just because when you put him in any other position, he's sort of standing wonky on the stand. It's not a big thing, but it is a little thing to note. Now, they've changed the colour of the stand as well, from like the red that Deadpool wears on his suit. It's a little bit more off reddish. It's not a great colour to have been chosen, really. I think it does look a little washed out and a little faded, and it looks like a car that's like 30 years old that's been left in the sun far too long. However, he does actually impress when it comes to the actual figure and the suit itself. All in all, for the money you pay for this guy, you do get a lot of things. I'm going to go through the accessories and then we'll go through articulation, and then I'll give you my final overall thoughts on the design. Okay, let's go with the head sculpt first. As you can see, I've got the sort of wacky head sculpt on, where he's got a large eye and a small eye on. Very finely detailed, and it's actually a really nice looking design. It does have a little sort of seam for the face mask that he has. He's also got the little bit at the back there, I don't know what you call that, the loose bit of fabric that he normally has just flapped over the back. As you can see, you can come round. See, he's got his ear moulded there. And if we come in, I'm not sure you can be able to pick it up, but there is a tiny little bit of a seam there. but not much. You can obviously see where they've tried expertly to hide that as best they can, and you can see the eyes have got some wrinkling, and overall this does work really well. I wasn't 100% certain what it was going to be like, but it does, and the fine sort of sculpting around here makes it look like stitching a little bit, and it really does. It does work really well. But anyway, if we come down, we can see that the suit sort of sits there. The collar is a little thick, but it's not the worst thing in the world. It's designed to be that way so it, you know, securely fits onto his body. See that it comes down, and there is two different types of fabric, or I think it's printed onto the fabric, and then you've got this like neoprene sort of suit, and it's a smooth, almost velvety finish to it. Not shiny though, which is good, and it's the kind of thing you get inside maybe a coat. There's that smooth texture stuff you get inside, and that's the kind of thing it is, but it's very matte. It's not shiny, and we can come around, we can see all the printing around here. We can just go in and we can see some stitching. I've just dropped the gun, no, never mind. You can see the stitching on the back is a little knobbled there, zigzags a little bit, but it's not too terrible, and obviously they've had to do that to secure the suit on properly. As you come up, see there's a fine seam there, but there won't be many times you're going to be posing him from the back anyway, and the seam that they've done for underneath the arm is actually all the way under the arm, perfect and really straight and even. This is a finely stitched item. It's really nice. See the seam going down there with this sort of black gloss print all the way down the sides, and the design of this guy is, well, it's Deadpool. There's no getting around it. It's definitely Deadpool, and he does look really good. So overall with this figure, I am really impressed with the design, and I'm really impressed with the stitching that they've managed to achieve in the suit. As you can come in, you can see that he has his gauntlets to protect him, and they're weathered and they're very battle damaged. See notches and scratches all the way over there. Amazing. I really like these. The way they were able to do these I think is great. You can see there's some fine detail in the straps around the bottom, some lovely painted buckles just on the side of the forearm. Not much bleed out of there, so you can't complain. That's really nice. The strap that goes around and holds the swords also holds the grenades in here. Turn it around, there's some really nice detailing in these straps all the way underneath his body. See the buckles there. A lot of the time with a lot of these figures you would get bleed off. There'd be two blobs of paint there and not much else, but they've really gone the distance to try and keep these as clean as possible. And as you come around, there's another buckle there, and you can see this does look like it's supposed to be fabric. Obviously it's not for the price, but it's really great design, weathering, no bleed off in the pouches, still ruffled all the way around the edges. See the belt. This is going to be the test. See, I've got a KO of Deadpool coming in the post at some point from China. I definitely know for a fact that that is going to be messy as hell on the KO version that's coming. If it ever comes, you never know. Could have bought a turkey. And we come around and you see the straps and the gun holsters, some little designs there, and you've got the straps that hold the gun in place. Now I've tried pushing these in. They don't firmly fix in. There's no like pop or click when they go in. They just sort of sit in there, but it does work. It does look really good. And we come up and we see the sheaths. These sheaths are just, it's a shame they're not crisscross, but that's the design they went with to go lengthways, and it doesn't interfere with the figure too much. They do stick out quite a bit. They're quite thick. Them buckles are amazing. You can see all the notching. There's battle damage on these. He's definitely used these before. And we'll include these swords with the accessories in a minute. But my god, come down, we can see the boots. They're two separate pieces. This is the top part, and then we have this bottom part with the feet, and you can see the fine design there. You can see the actual tread on the bottom of the foot. I always love that when they go that detailed. You can see the stitching all the way around the edging on the back of the heel. Comes all the way around the front. Toes, the sole comes up onto the front of the toes, nice and jaggedy. You've got some foot guard there as well, and you've got the tiny little splodges there to show buckles, which they didn't have to do really. So again, it's those little details that really bring these up above other 112 style figures. Okay, he also comes with a big assault rifle with grenade launcher attached. Not entirely sure why he comes with this. I would be more than happy with the fact that he comes with the grenades, he comes with the handguns and the swords. Those are kind of Deadpool sort of bog standard weaponry. If they'd have got rid of this and swapped it for another more expressive head sculpt, I wouldn't have complained at all. But this is what you get. You get this assault rifle, get the grenade launcher here, and we get this here, lovely weathered, comes out with the bullets on top and the clip. Don't get any extra clips like you did with Punisher. Punisher came with extra clips, a shame. No other moving parts on this, but it is a nice weathered, high quality looking weapon. If we come in here, you can see he also comes with 6 of these grenades which go up onto his lapel. But if you put this in here, you load it in, we load it in firmly. If we do it right, it falls straight back out, so don't bother putting it, don't actually load this thing with these unless you fancy losing your grenades on the floor somewhere, and the Hoover doesn't mind taking a few of them. But yeah, here is the grenade that it comes with. You get 6 of these, nicely 3 level painted. You get red tip, black center, and then sort of a gunmetal finish at the end. You get 6 of those, which is nice. And then we have these lovely little Deadpool grenades with his logo all over them. Because what is Deadpool if not a lot of branding? 4 of those grenades you get, which is really good. And you also come with that stand, and you also get this mechanical arm to help you do some more extreme jumping poses, which is really good. I've used these before, they're really nice. He also comes with 2 swords, very similar, very nice. They've got sort of like a notching up the side here for when he's serrating and he wants to really bleed people out. And I'm trying to get this into focus so that you can see there are damages, notches in the sword itself. See down the tip there, there's scratches. These have been used, they're moderately battle damaged. They're really great design. They've got this nice little curvature there. Come back in, there's no like scabbard, there's no handguard, no need for them. Deadpool just heals so quickly it wouldn't matter to protect his hands a bit. And also nice little handle here. The red is still on the inside, it's very clear. It's not as clear this side I don't think as it is on this side, but it is still very clear. And this tip is really great. You can see there's a tiny bit from the moulding process there, but never mind. And then you can see there's like a finely painted, look, it's so straight. That's definitely not going to look like that on the knockoff. But yeah, that's what you get. You get these sort of really super finely detailed accessories with these figures. And they just fit and slot into the scabbard perfectly. And like a glove as well, as you push it down, there's a tiny bit of a click there. Oh, don't forget the 1/12 storage bag. You can pull his accessories in. You can also write his name on there. It's just one of those nice little touches. They know what people like and they understand collectors, what we need. You've got to give them props for that. You get a second head sculpt, which is just a normal one without the squinty eye to make him look maybe moderately more sane, but definitely far more mean as well. And this is just as well sculpted as the other one. Unfortunately, I would have liked to have a third one. You see, you've got the slightly crazy one and the normal one, but you don't have the really crazy one, and that's the one that I think people would really like to have with this to swap and change out. Punisher had 3 head sculpts. Don't fully understand why Deadpool couldn't, but then, you know, I'm not making these things, but it does feel like in comparison to their Punisher, he does fall short a little bit, but however. You also get 2 handguns. These are really great design. You got the Deadpool eye on the side, and they've actually repainted it here. There's no movement up the top here, it's all fixed in place, but it does come with a clip, and the clip does have a bullet in the top there, painted as well. Nice bit of weathering, it looks really practical, looks like a gun Deadpool would own. If we come up to the hands, we can see he comes with left and right fists, left and right sword gripping hands. We've got a slightly more open grip hand there, and we also get the left and right trigger gun hands. So I just want to take a second to come in and have a look at the details they've put into the hand. You can see that the paint application is pretty tight, especially for a 1/12 figure. It's very difficult to get paint applications just right, but there's some nice design in there, some very different textures, some lining in there, then there's some different padding around the knuckles, moving into the fingertips, and the flashing does seem to be a little bit there, but it's not so prevalent that it's jarring. And it's pretty nice actually. The way they do the hands is really good in the Mezcos usually, and Deadpool is no exception. And then of course you get this gnarly bro sort of hand gesture, which is a really nice touch. It really adds some personality to the figure when you want to do different poses. It is a shame you don't get that third head sculpt to really utilize this, where he's got some sort of crazy sort of expression on his face. Now I have noticed that I think there's a semi-unmasked version coming with the grey version of Deadpool. I think that's X-Force Deadpool or something like that, but really it should have come with this version as well. Great hand, shame about the head sculpt. Oh, and here's a nice touch. If you do have the Mezco 1/12 Punisher, you can actually use the fire effects from that to go with this guy, because they fit into his guns. I didn't realise that, and honestly it makes it just a little bit more cool that you can actually swap out some of the effects from other figures to use with this guy. So check it out. If you guys have Mezco Punisher, you may be able to use the effects to a better effect with Deadpool. Okay, articulation will go in. You can see that the head lifts up about that much, comes down about that much, comes all the way down to the chest, the chin, about that much turn to the side, that turn to the side, and you can do a full 360 rotation on the head if you need that. Here we go, we can get some really good torso pushing in there. Sort of restriction just about, but you get chest, torso and waist articulation, chest and waist articulation, so he can bend forward quite well. So you can get him in some quite dynamic poses if you really want to. Arms come up about this far. Starting to just really stretch it. If you do this though, you're starting to put real strain on here, so be careful. But they can go up about that far. Main problem is the rolling forward. As you roll this arm forward, this starts to really interfere and get in the way, plus the strap. The rolling forward is going to be really difficult. There's going to be a lot of sort of futzing and moving that around just to try and get it into a position. So if you're going to bring these arms straight forward, you're going to have a bit of a problem. It's not impossible, but you are going to have issues rolling this forward and getting it the way you can. Elbow articulation comes all the way up to about, yeah, comes all the way up. Double bend in the elbows. As you can see, there's a bit of a stretch there between them, but they come all the way up. But you're going to be causing issues around stretching around this fabric. Luckily there is a bit of a stretch in this fabric to begin with. The design of it is such that there is some stretch and you can get that articulation, but I don't know how long or how good that will last. Waist is a bit more difficult. You can get about that much and that much. Not amazing, but there is some there. You've also got your wrist articulation here in the joint. Full 360 turn. Legs, they come all the way out to the front. There's a double bend in the knees, so they can come all the way back. So you can get some really good dynamic poses out of him this way. If we come down, it's full 360 in the feet, plus there's a tiny bit of swivel in the ankle here, up, down, so there is some movement there. So you can get him into some nice wide leg stances and then position the feet so his feet are actually firmly on the ground. So in terms of articulation, you can get him up really well in the arms all the way up to the sides. Rolling the arms forward a little bit difficult. Torso, the chest area and the thing, you can get a reasonable bend forward, a bit of a bend back, and you can also do a tiny waist swivel. But the belt, the harness and the suit sort of restrict that movement a little bit. But then it sort of makes up with the leg movement being so you can get double bend in the knees, double bend in the elbows and some ankle pivot. So overall, it's great articulation, to be honest. I can't really complain. There are some things I would prefer, like a bit more of a waist swivel would be good, so you can get him into some super dynamic poses. You can't have everything when you get in all this fabric surrounding these bodies. The bodies they use are top notch, in all honesty. Okay guys, that was Mezco's Deadpool 112 figure. I really like this figure. I think the suit is amazing, especially he's got that stretchy fabric, so you can get him to some fantastic poses. Only niggling problems I have is maybe in comparison with some of the previous releases, it's not as ample with its accessories and head sculpts, but you can't have everything, and I genuinely think that this is a step up in terms of design of suit and everything for them. So if they start going forward and start bringing more of these types of figures to life, I'm sure we're going to have way more fun. I'm blown away by the posing on this guy. I haven't had this much fun posing a figure since I bought the Reveltech Deadpool. Should you buy him? Most definitely. Deadpool fan and a 112 figure collector, you should have this in your collection already. If you don't sit on the fence anymore. Get him before he's gone. Thanks a lot guys. That was just a quick video. I hope you really enjoyed the review. Like and subscribe. If you could do me a favour now, if you could just get me the fuck out of my cave, I'd really appreciate it. Thanks a lot guys. Bye bye.